Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create an exploded view of the curt D688 Vise. And if you actually go to their website, you can see the exploded view of the Vise here in case you need to order any of the replacement parts. Alright, so let's come on back to Fusion 360. So once you have the Vise assembly open and you're ready to go, the first thing you want to do is come over to your workspace and change it from design to animation. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and take off the top here of our vise, the jaws here, the jaw plate and the jaws themselves, as well as the bolts. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and hold down Control. I'm going to click on the two bolts, the jaw plate and the jaw. I'm going to click Transform, and I'm going to move it up, I think about 2 inches or so. Go ahead and select OK. All right. Now go ahead and click on your screen, and now let's repeat this process for the movable jaws here on the vise. So I'm going to hold down Control, click there, hold down Shift in my mouse wheel and rotate the part around with my mouse. Press Control and click on those two bolts, and then come over to Transform and move this part up 2 inches as well. Type in 2, select OK. Now we're going to go ahead and take out the two bolts here that hold our fixed jaws in place. So I'm going to hold down Control, click there, and click there, and then hold down Transform and move them down so that they're out of the vise. And I'm going to make sure they're adequately far enough here. So I'm going to just type in -4. That should do the trick. Go ahead and select OK. Now I'm going to zoom out here and I'm going to remove the lead screw. So I'm going to click on Transform, click on my lead screw, and I'm going to pull that guy out a sufficient distance here. And I think -20 should do the job. Select OK. Let's do the same now for the lead screw nut here, which screws into this. And let's pull it out. I think -32 inches should do the trick. Go ahead and select OK. Alright, looks pretty good. Alright, so now let's go ahead and actually start taking apart our vise jaws here. So I'm going to do the fixed portion of the jaws first. So I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to click on Transform, click here, and let's move this guy out a distance of maybe -1 should do the trick. 1 inch. Okay, and I'm going to do the same for this side. Move it over 1. Click OK. And now I'm going to move the bolts out here. Transform, click on that guy. Move it out. Let's see here. Let's see if -2 is enough. And let's go with -2.25. And let's do the same for this one. -2.25. Same for this one. -2.25. Click here. And -2.25. Select OK. And there we have it. Okay. Our vise pretty much completely taken apart. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to expand my timeline, and I'm going to sort of stagger these so we get a nice sort of animation of our vise being taken apart. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is to sort of make it appear like these two bolts down here are taken out first. So these are right here and right here. So everything else I'm going to move out past it. I'm going to slide up I'm going to click here, hold down Control, and click on all of them and move them out here. Next, I'm going to animate my lead screw and my lead screw nut that's inside of here. So I'm going to come down and find that part. looks like right here and right there. So that's good. I'm going to now move everything else out past there. So, however, let's see here. Let's do this. And then we'll move everything out past there. So once again, I'm going to click on Control, move all of them out here. All right, so now let's go ahead and animate this. I think we did a pretty good job. However, I'm going to, this zoom feature here, I want that to happen first. So I'm going to hold down everything, click on everything here, go up, hold down Control, and I want this to be just past the zoom thing there, right there. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up. And now let's go ahead and animate it, hit play. All right, so we have a pretty good animation that shows how our vise is taken apart. Feel free to play around with your storyboard and modify it or get as creative as you like. I'm going to go ahead now and create an exploded view from this view right here. So to do that, I'm going to come on up to my workspace again, and I'm going to come down to drawing, and I'm going to select drawing, not from design, but from animation. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to change my sheet size to A, 11 inches by 8.5 inches, and select OK. And I'm going to kind of click in this area right here, but I'm going to change a couple things. Let's see the scale here. Maybe 1 to 5. That looks pretty good. Maybe 1 to 4 if we can make it fit. That's pretty big, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to click right here. I'm going to give it some shading, and I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to delete them. I'm going to click on my title block here. I'm going to delete that guy. All right, next we want to go ahead now and create a table and some balloons for this. So I'm going to come into tables. I'm going to select table, and I'm going to drag this corner, and I'm going to snap it right into that top right corner. Okay. So we have this really cool parts list. Okay, and I'm going to click on it and edit it. So if you just double click on it, when it becomes highlighted, you'll get this menu here. And I don't want description, so I'm going to uncheck description. All right, and get something that looks like this. So I should have item, quantity, part number, in the material. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this guy. I'm going to come back to my table here, and I'm going to sort of adjust these columns so I can get them as narrow as possible. Same with my quantity and my item. I'm going to move that corner back there. All right, that looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and move our vise over a bit so we're out of the way of our parts list. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so now let's go ahead and move our balloons here so everything looks nice and aligned and parallel. So these lines, these three lines look pretty good in parallel right here. So I'm going to start here and just move this guy in. Okay, and this number 4, let's get this number 2. Let's drag it over here. And let's see here. I'm drawing this number 7. All right, I'm going to click on this 4 here, and I'm going to move it over here because it's kind of, and then this side of the arrow, I'm going to move it to here. And once again, kind of make it nice and parallel. And I'm going to move this guy up here on my lead screw. Already starting to look quite a bit better. Okay, and this number 5, let's see here. I think it would be better over here on this bolt right here. We're going to attach it to a different bolt. There we go. All right, and to stay consistent, I'm actually going to move this 2 down here. All right, let's see, they all look pretty parallel. Okay, so that looks pretty good. You could spend some more time getting it just perfect. I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to bring in an actual assembly image of our vise. So I'm going to come over to base view, and by default it's going to bring in a front view. I'm going to change the front here to northeast isometric. Okay, so it's kind of in the same orientation as my exploded view. However, I'm going to change the scale. Let's make it, let's see what 1 to 8 does here, or 1 to 7. And we can maybe go a little bigger. 1 to 6. Looks pretty good. I'm going to give it some shading just like the other one, and I'm going to click here and select OK. Alright, so that'll do it for our Curt Vise exploded view. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to save when you're done, and we will see you next time.